Otakon went great, but we are a bit underwhelmed and we definitely overpacked. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Seru, the founder and creator of the Yaoi Army. We make original BL comics and spicy male illustrations from pop culture. If this is something you're interested in, check out our website and online store, www.theyaoiarmy.com. Now on to the video. Today we'll be reviewing Otakon as an artist in the Artist Alley. This is our first time at this convention, and we've heard so many good things about this convention from our friends and colleagues, so we're excited. Otakon is held at Walter E. Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. It's a 3-day convention typically held sometime in August. As for attendance, Otakon has reported 40,000 plus people attend the convention. The convention hours are super long and go super late, specifically for artists in the Artist Alley. Day 1 on Friday was from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Day 2 on Saturday was 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Day 3 on Sunday was thankfully a lot shorter and started at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. with a grand total of 23 plus working hours for 3 days. And this didn't even include travel, setup, and teardown hours. So how do you apply and get into this convention? Otakon has 2 different types of application. One is called an unlimited booth, and it is a first come, first serve basis with a large 10 by 10 space and no fan art restriction. It costs $1,100 for inline booth or $1,200 for a corner booth. And it comes with 1 Artist Alley badge. You have to buy additional badges, up to 2 if you have helpers, and it costs $75 each. To grab one of these booths, you have to wake up early and have to have the fastest internet and fingers. We tried to apply and submitted the application within 2 to 3 minutes, and we still didn't get it. Number 2 is a screened lottery, where they review your application or portfolio first before they put you into a lottery. This comes with a standard Artist Alley table, which costs $350, or a standard booth space. I think it's about 10 by 10 too, but I'm not entirely sure. And it costs $750. Do keep in mind that these spaces have a 50-50 fan art and original policy, and they do check your display at the convention. The good thing about this convention is you can apply to all types, and that's what we did. We ended up winning the screened lottery and got a standard Artist Alley table. Be advised that it could be a 6-foot or 8-foot table, depending on their supplier or decorator. So plan ahead for the worst when configuring your display. We planned for a 6-foot table, but also brought in an extended display just in case if they give us the 8-foot table. Luckily, they did give us the longer table, and we were able to display more items. So how did our days go? On setup day, which is a Thursday, we flew super early from Las Vegas Airport to Baltimore Washington Airport via Southwest. This was the only direct flight we could find, as we didn't want to do any connecting flights. We could have gone to the Washington National Airport to be nearer to the convention, but we couldn't afford to lose any luggage or miss our flights. As much as possible, if we could, we will fly directly. We rented a car at the airport and drove to the convention. We also picked up some boxes that we shipped out in advance at the UPS store. Since a lot of people are saying that this is the anime expo of the East Coast, we need to pack more inventory. Anyway, I personally like having a car when we're out of state, as it does give you freedom to wherever you want to go. You can book a cheaper hotel by being a bit further away from the convention, get supplies, and get better food options. Financially, it makes sense for us to do it this way. This being our first time here, finding the entrance to the Artist Alley was a bit chaotic. Multiple people were giving us wrong directions from the staff and the convention employees. We didn't know exactly where to line up, as there were different points of registration for the attendees, and it was just way too crowded. The communication email before the convention was a bit unclear on where to go as well. A picture map would help for first-timers like us, but they didn't provide that. It was so difficult to navigate when you have to pull 2 large suitcases and a carry-on. If this is going to be your first time, the side entrance at the 9th and L Street is where you need to go. Once you get in, the Artist Alley registration was straight ahead. Alternatively, if you have a car, you can use the loading dock. Personally, we didn't use the dock since we have to pay additional for it, and we really tried to lower our costs. We parked nearby and pushed our suitcases to the con. It was physically tiring, but we saved hundreds of dollars. And another thing, they have a hand carry policy here. We've seen people with carts and dollies stop at the front entrance. We had suitcases, which were fine, just plan accordingly. We set up rather quickly this time around. We're pretty much getting the hang of it at this point after multiple conventions this year. Also, planning your setup in advance help a lot. I think I will make a video on how we plan our booth configuration to make setup a breeze, so watch out for that. Now on to day one. It started later, which was really nice. We were able to sleep in and grab lunch before going to the convention. The hours run from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., which honestly, it could be shorter. Last year, I heard that it ran until 10 p.m., which is really crazy to me. Friday was busy for us, but not too overwhelming. The crowds were steady and they were really nice. There were a lot of window shoppers, which is typical on day one. Other than that, it was a fairly uneventful, drama-free Friday. Another thing to note was how attentive their volunteers were. They kept checking up on us if we needed anything or if we wanted to take a quick break, and they could watch over the booth. Since I had another member of our studio with me, we could alternate our rest breaks. But this could be very helpful for a lot of people who do solo conventions. This took us by surprise since not a lot of conventions do this. You're pretty much on your own. And I'm glad they are doing this. Day 2 was another long day. The hours ran from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Again, it could be shorter. Sales were super fast and non-stop. We practically didn't have any downtime. What I noticed was the average sales value per customer was very low. It was expected since economy is down right now and everyone's hurting. Disposable income was spread thin among the vendors and artists. It's very understandable. You have to take care of yourself first before buying and supporting small businesses. Also, the Artist Alley manager showed up at our booth to check the 50-50 fan art original policy. Unlike our past experiences with event staff, she was really nice and easy to talk to. She did say that we had a lot of fan art. We have to even out our display to have more original content. Luckily, we do mostly original work, but a lot had been sold out at that point, so we had to put up more original posters on our booth to comply with this rule. She said that she'd come back to check up on us again, but she didn't. Day 3 is a shorter day, thank God. The hours ran from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We were so exhausted from the previous days at this point, and we were just glad that it was almost over. Sunday was surprisingly our slowest day. We were expecting last-minute shoppers, but those people didn't come. We ran out of business cards halfway through the day. We brought about 1,000, and I guess that wasn't enough. I still think business cards are a good way to market yourself and for customers to find you in the future. It's totally worth it in my opinion. Towards the end of the day, we packed up at the speed of light since the escalators were too narrow for our luggage and there was only 2 available elevators. We were out of there within 30 minutes and I think it was our best record for packing up. What's the parking situation like at Otakon? If you have a car, parking could be expensive. We use Spot Hero to find cheap parking spots. I suggest once you get accepted by Otakon and you plan to rent or use a car, find parking spots right away near the convention center since there is no parking garage attached to the convention center. The nearer you are, the more expensive it is. I think the most expensive parking spot we've seen was $60. We had to walk about half a mile each day and it cost about $10 to $15 per day. So what's the internet situation like? The convention center offered free Wi-Fi, but it was unreliable once more people were inside the convention. Our phone data worked, but it was very spotty. Our hotspot worked like a charm. If you're an out-of-state artist, you probably need a seller's permit. As a disclaimer, this is not a tax advice and is for entertainment purposes only. Consult a tax professional. Registration for seller's permit is a bit complicated for this convention. Otakon did give instructions and we just followed that. You just have to make sure you are on top of it and register early once accepted. In our case, we did register early. We have to wait a few weeks for Otakon to receive their event number. This was needed to finish registration. Again, you have to be on top of it as this is time sensitive. They said they would check this at badge pickup, but they didn't. What did we eat at this convention? We ended up not going to any fancy restaurants. We just didn't have the time and energy due to the long hours and late hours of this convention. We ate at nearby cafes, food places, and they're not even worth recommending, to be honest. So how much did we pack for this convention? We over-prepared and overstocked. Typical for us. This just reaffirms that you have to take what people say with a grain of salt. They overhyped this convention way too much, which is fine and happens a lot. Times do change, and our colleagues did say that this year was less crowded compared to last year. We packed 4 large suitcases, 50 pounds each. I even put all the heavy items like our books and bookmarks in my carry-on. Additionally, we shipped out 6 medium-sized boxes weighing 50 pounds each to a UPS store. Otakon was a busy convention. Downtimes in between sales weren't that much. We were always on our feet, but the quantity of sales were pretty low per customer. If we were to get in again, I would pack more conservatively, like 5 to 10 units for the less popular items and 10 to 15 units for the more popular items. Our best sellers were, of course, our comic books. Most titles were sold out by the end of day 2. We didn't really have a worst seller here in terms of item category. Books, keychains, bookmarks, and prints sold pretty evenly. And obviously, the obscure and old fan arts didn't do well. At the end of the convention, we came back much lighter. We emptied out 4 out of the 6 medium-sized boxes that we shipped out. So I think that was pretty good. Are there any tea at this convention? Thankfully, it was drama-free. After sorting out the registration, it was smooth sailing. The 50-50 fan art and original rule applied, and the artist alley manager who checked in on us was very pleasant. We didn't have any weird or bad interactions with fans and customers or staff. East Coast people were really nice and welcoming. We hope we get in again next year. Now, onto expenses. How much did we spend at this convention? Since we've been getting more experience traveling to out-of-state conventions, we've found ways to save money. This could have been cheaper if we were to split expenses on hotel and car rental. But for us, we just wanted to be on our own and not involve other people to avoid drama and stress. This is something to think about for you and your own needs. Wow. Flight tickets were expensive, even using Southwest. We spent about $1,038 for the 2 of us. It is what it is. There's no way around this cost. As for the booth space, we had a standard 8-foot table, and I had to buy an extra badge for one of the members of our studio. In total, we spent $425. Honestly, this was so cheap and reasonable compared to other conventions, and Otakon is one of the largest cons in the US. Some small to mid-sized conventions are charging up to $700+ for a 6-foot table. Like we said earlier, it was financially and logistically made sense for us to drive. We ended up renting a car at the airport to save the hassle of Uber and Lyft and getting supplies for the convention. In total, we spent $518 for 5 days. As for the accommodation, we saved a lot of money booking a hotel a bit further from the convention center. It was about 10 minutes away. We stayed from Thursday to Monday afternoon and spent a total of $416. Parking was a bit crazy here. We parked our car at the Las Vegas airport to catch our 5 a.m. flight. It cost $90 for 4 days. Uber and Lyft are typically expensive here, and it is a lot cheaper to just use your own car and park it at the airport. Additionally, I had to pay parking at the hotel we stayed at. I am part of the hotel chain membership, and typically they do waive the parking fee. Not this hotel. They charge us $180 for our entire stay there. Next time, we'll look for a different hotel with free parking. The rest of the cost went to the parking near the convention center, which weren't bad. They ranged from $10 to $20 per day. We rented a fuel-efficient car and we drove from the DC area quite a lot and back to the BWI airport. Plus, the gas prices here were way cheaper compared to Las Vegas and LA. We were surprised by how cheap it was. We spent $18. As for food, we mostly fed ourselves sandwiches and pizza from Whole Foods. We accidentally save a lot of money since we didn't splurge on food, which was typical for us to do at cons. Because of the cons' long hours, we didn't really have time to explore and go to a sit-down restaurant. In total, we spent $150 on food for 5 days. I was surprised to even see this number. We tried some artisanal coffee at different cafes near our hotel, and they weren't good. We mostly got our coffee at Whole Foods, and they weren't bad. In total, we spent $70 on coffee. We couldn't possibly bring our wide range of inventory in our allotted suitcases via Southwest, so we had to ship our packages to DC. We used UPS for this. To save money, we made a business account and ship ahead. They gave a sizable discount by doing so. I didn't send the packages directly to the hotel since we had a bad experience doing that in the past. It either got lost or the hotel declined the package or they charge a handling fee. That was way too expensive. In our case, we decided to ship it to the UPS store and pick it up once we're there. It cost about $25 per mid-size box. UPS has a standard flat fee when you ship a smaller box up to their specification, and it could weigh up to 50 pounds. We sent 6 boxes weighing about 50 pounds each, and the total ended up at $166 with taxes and fees. All this expenses combined, we spent about $3,133 in order to attend this convention. Quite expensive, really, but it was worth it. Now on to the good part. How much did we make at this convention? I don't give specific numbers. It's between me, God, and my accountant, but we did make back our expenses and then some. To be a good convention in my eyes, we have to at least make 3 times the expenses, and we did reach that goal. We made back all our expenses by Friday, so that was good. Our colleagues said it was really slow for them compared to last year, but the crowd did remind us of Anime Expo. It's very busy. There was endless flow of people through the aisles. However, the average sales per customer was a bit low compared to other conventions we've attended at. But all in all, it was still very good. We don't typically attend East Coast conventions as we are based on the West Coast. I think it is really valuable to be able to market yourselves in a different area, and people will start to recognize you if you ended up getting in next year. Now on to my final thoughts. Otakon was great overall. The attendees, staff, and the volunteers. We hope we get in again and vend here. I really have nothing negative to say about this convention other than the weather. It was very hot and humid, so dress appropriately if you do decide to attend a con. And that's about it. If you like this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be attending more conventions and making reviews. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and check out our last video as an exhibitor at Anime Expo. Watch it next. Bye!